With everyone back in school, it is back to packing for school, specifically the dreaded lunch boxes. Because when parents are, of course, trying to pack healthy lunches, it's not always the easiest. And let's not forget, of course, what kids eat at lunchtime is going to impact how they learn and function in the classroom. So our Sally Norton is a nutritionist and public health expert. We brought her in. She joins us live now to talk about this link between food and learning. Sally, what can you tell me when it comes to food and trying to be a smart kiddo, I guess?
Well, your brain needs to work. And if you're not eating the right things, the brain is going to struggle. It's going to affect performance, concentration, attitude, all kinds of things. So it's really important that our cells and our brains get the nutrients they need and aren't overly taxed with toxins.
Now, Sally, we want to feed students things that they like, but of course we don't want to starve them, of course, of nutrition. So how am I going to balance both? Because especially if I have a picky eater, it's going to be a little bit harder, right?
Yeah, the picky eater is a tough one, and it really starts early to try to get them involved in food prep, where they take a real interest and investment in the foods they're eating and get some excitement. So teaching children about foods, recognizing that there's great nutrients and it's very satisfying to eat things that have protein in them, the eggs, the fish, the meats, these things are all help them feel better and stable and a very nutritious, make great foods for lunch. It's the classic things we used to eat for lunch back in my day. And the competition is all these they're now packing all this junk food in these little packages, and you can grab a bunch of these little, throw them in a box and call it lunch. And there's probably other children doing that in school. So it's a tough situation. It really needs to come from the child needs to be invested in the food in order to get cooperation.
Now, I like that you mentioned, cooperation in terms of just like now making sure that they help. But at the same time, when it comes to helping, I'm worried that, my kiddo may be very social and then it turns into a trading of lunch things. So it's just like I packed you a healthy lunch. However, may say Ricky or Susie, they're doing this exchange of things. And then sometimes it could turn into wastefulness. Are there tricks or tips that we can avoid this when it comes to throwing things away or just losing a whole meal?
Well, I do think there's conversations to have at home about good business deals and whether you're really getting a good deal or not. And they're probably trading something that's worth 10 cents and you've got this beautiful egg salad or this tuna or whatever. So it's important that they value what they have. And if they're going to play the trade game, they better get a good price, so make it fun and make it about them having savvy, not about them having to do a certain thing or eat foods they don't like. You'll never win if you can't convince them to take pride in the food they've got.
And then, of course, I want to ask, so I'm a parent of a much smaller person, so pickiness is just part of the game right now. I've accepted it. But when it comes to the fact of you can sometimes feel a little bit like a failure because it's just like they'll only eat this or she'll only eat that. So I don't think it's fair, of course, that parents should like see of themselves as like failing, right? Like we're doing the best we can, of course.
It's really tricky when you get into these phases with the food, and there's different situations in each case. So it's hard to make global statements about how to handle it. But the more you can help children to know that the food going is the food we all eat and not have kid food, and just let them figure out that their tastes are going to expand and give them some sense of accomplishment when they start expanding their palate.
So, of course, feed their emotions in a positive way, in addition to trying to feed that brain to make them smart, right?
Absolutely. You never want food to be a battleground.
Yeah, it's one battle I feel like we're not going to win until much later. Anyway, all right.
They go through these phases when they're like 3 and 4 where it feels like they're eating nothing.
Yes, I'm currently in it now.
Oh,
Sally,
dear.
thank you so much.